Yo, I was talking. I thought it was recording, but then my phone like went back to the home screen. So I don't know. So far all we did was put this on the outer corner. This is after hours, and I was saying for look number 1, we use this shade and these 6. Look number no, this shade and these 6. Look number 2, we use this shade and these 6. And by the time we do this look 3, and then look 4, we will have used every shade in here twice. And so I do feel good about that. I do have an opinion about this palette already, but I'm going to save that for the end of look number 4. Now we're going to take, I'm looking at the shapes. Now we're going to take Charles. Charles is this way, and so I'm making a point to use both sides of the palette this time. And so we're going to put this here. And I was just about to start to do the intro when the phone cut off. Well, it went back to the home screen. Hello again and welcome. Or just hello if the first part really did not record. My name is Dion, and I call this the crazy troll nation of YouTube. Why do I call it that? The crazy, just knowing it's okay to be your authentic self. And the troll part is not caring too much about the beauty community standards. You set the standard for yourself. You may hear you must use this tool, this technique, this brand, and I'm here to tell you no, you don't. Use whatever you want to, however you want to get your makeup on in a way that you are satisfied with it. Because here at the Crazy Troll Nation, we believe in self-acceptance and self-love, embracing our natural features, enhancing them if we want to, when we want to, but never feeling like we have to. Listen, y'all, love yourself for who you are and for how you look, even when you're not wearing face paint. So that's the intro. I hope it resonates with you. If you've been with me for a while and you've heard it quite a bit, I hope that, you know, it's a part of your daily affirmation. Just love yourself for who you are. You know what I mean? And be your authentic self. The shapes look good. We're also going to take that shade Childs for the outer corner of our lower lash line. Lower lash line from MAC, we have one Pool Shark, and that looks like this. And on our inner rims, upper and lower, we have one Stay the Night, which is this color. So what was I saying? Oh, 2 things to know about me if you are new here. I do curse sometimes because I curse. And the second thing to know is that there's an organism that lives in my throat that randomly hiccups, gurgles, and belches. And I was very hiccupy this weekend, and I don't know why. And I had like this loud ass gurgle, and I was just like, oh, excuse me. I'm like, I know y'all heard this. Nobody said anything, but I know they did because it was loud. There was a rumble in the jungle, but yeah. And I have been drinking Kefir every day still, and 8 ounces because it's an 8-ounce bottle that I got from Wawa versus just, you know, like 2 ounces sipping from the carton. And so that may have been it. I don't know. I don't know what to do, if that was it or not. But yeah, I was just like very hiccupy. This is nice even like this because this is blown out, and then you have the green just there. That would be nice, but we are going to put another shade there. I mean, for the inner portion of the lower lash line. So now we're going to take Iconic, which is this shade here, and we're going to put this here. Yeah, I'm gonna hold my opinions and do first impressions at the end. And I already do have another idea for this palette, and it's always good when I do have ideas for a palette, because that means I am looking forward to using it, at least for those things that I have ideas for. It's when I have a palette and I'm like, okay, I did one look and I don't even want to be bothered with it again, kind of thing. This one, y'all, looks like it's getting hard pan. This shade right here, like you see that spot in the middle? It's not picking up. All right, so now I'm wiggling the brush over it, which is the first time I've had to do that because I'm looking at this like, is it showing up? Oh, Lordy. Oh, that's not good. This side went on smooth. I did have to keep going back quite a bit, but it is looking like it's not showing up. We're not tapping off. Yo, this shade. This was gifted to me. And so, you know, I'm not going to complain. Like if I had purchased it, I would be like, if I got to scrape this every time before I use it, that would deter me from using it. But it is not picking up well. And where I'm looking at it right now is shiny. And that is hard pan. I think you just seen it. Let me see. It's not showing up now. But the rest of the pans where you see where the brush dips, like it is just smooth. But this has a shine in it. And that's hard pan. I don't use my fingers for makeup at all, so it's not that. So it's just this palette. I don't want to say that's why it was free gift with purchase, because they do give good gifts with purchase. I got a couple brushes as a free gift with purchase, and I'm like, wow, like I really like this brush. So I don't want to say that. We're going to take, we're going to take that for the first half of the lower lash line. So I am going in circles, which I usually do when I'm picking up a shade with this type of brush for my lower lash line. Y'all, this is not, why did you cut off? I have it plugged in, the mirror down here. Y'all, this is not showing up. This is not showing up. I'm not even tapping off. I don't know why the mirror clicked off. I have it plugged in, and the little ring light at the top I have plugged in. That's on my phone. And I'm wondering if this would be suitable for lives at my desk. As far as the lighting, this is not showing up down there. It does look to be a little bit more green in here, but we're just going to leave it. This is not showing up under here. Wow. Okay. Yeah, because you see how, even though this was a matte, was this a matte? What shade was that? Charles. That was this shade. So that's a matte. That showed up really nice under here. But this, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to the brush that had Charles on it, and we're going to, yeah, we're going to put that there, because I'm not liking how that's looking. My eyes did finally stop tearing on the last look that we did. And so there was minor creasing, just like to this point, excuse me, on both of my inner lids. But yeah, from like here to here, from my eyes tearing upward. Yeah, I don't know about iconic. Iconic isn't iconic if you're not going to show up. If you got hard pan. And I swatched it once, bunch tip applicator for the live stream, and I used it once in the live, video yesterday. So this should not be doing that. Now we're going to take Beaming, which is somewhere. Beaming is this shade here. So this is going to go right here. I will say they do show up. Yeah, they do show up. I'm seeing it more in person down here in this mirror than I am when I look up here. And that is okay. But, and yes, I be getting compliments every day. I told y'all, every time I wear makeup, I get compliments. I use this one brush for setting powder, bronzer, blush, and highlight, and the Hourglass powders, because I didn't want to dirty a lot of brushes. And so as of now, like these two, I'm not even going to wash. I'm going to just put them into a bag. I'm going to wrap them in a tissue and put them in a bag. And the powder ones, I'll just toss in the bag. The brush I use for powder products. And I'll wash them when I get home. We have two more things to do. Toasty for transition, that's the shade. And really it's under brow, but actually I'm going to come along the upper line of the shadows. And so we're not going, as you see, all the way to the brow. And we do have a shade we're going to put up there. And so we're just on the line. What was that? Oh, I thought it was erasing it. It did dull it down that I'm seeing down here, like in this outer corner. But yeah, I didn't mean to go up that high, but here we are now. Oh boy, I'm tired. I do have Mountain Dew, I do have Skittles. So I will get home safely. It's about a little over an hour drive, maybe like an hour and 10 minutes from here, but we'll see with traffic, because I hit the exit I needed to come off of from 195 South. The exit I needed was next to an entry lane, well, an exit lane for the exit just before mine, and traffic was backed up, and I'm just like, what's happening? And there was people trying to get over into the turn lane, and they had really backed up traffic. So something like that, because people wait until they get to the exit, then they want to cut over like 2 lanes. And I'm like, that is so inconsiderate, because yeah, so then you know, they want to just get ahead, but then they're blocking people. It's just inconsiderate is what it is. I'm wiping off this brush because we're going to take this. This is a brush we tried to use for Iconic. And we're going to take Charmer. Charmer is where? This is Charmer. We're not tapping off. I started to, but I didn't. We're going to put that up here. And this will be the look. I'm going to edit out liner for upper lash line. Woohoo, I love that. So we only use 1, 2, 3 shades from over here, 4. And 1, 2, 3 from over here. So we do have a nice mix. And so that's 7 shades. And we'll use the other 7 in look number 4. And then we'll let this palette take a nap. And move on to something else, and then we'll roll back around to it. You hear my voice, y'all? My voice is like, why are you trying to use me right now? And I'm still sleeping. But I really like that light strip right there under my brow. So yeah, we're gonna edit out upper lash line, eyeliner, and mascara, and a lip. I'm using this one today because the MAC 210 that's in here is very frayed, and this is frayed as well. So, but we'll see how this works. This is actually a Melt Cosmetics brush, and so I need to rethink if I'm going to be using waterliners to travel with. I'm going to need to put different eyeliner brushes in here for my upper lash line. So we're going to do all that and come back. We're just going to do a basic lip. You know, we're going to put this on today, the Sigma. I'm going to let the liquid lipstick go because it's something with the color, and I do know I like a blue red, but this one, and it is pretty, but I don't like it. And I did top it with this, and I still didn't like it, and so I'm on the fence about this one too. So I may or may not just keep it as a topper, but for right now, let's go. And I will finish the face, and then we'll be right back. This is our finished look, y'all. We did use the gloss. This is Secret Garden. It's there, not there. It's not opaque because you can see, it looks like I have a lip liner on and I don't. That's my natural lip line color. But I do kind of look like how it looks like I have something on. Well, a lip liner on, and then I blended it out, even though I didn't. So this is look number 3. And let's go ahead and do our pictures because I will probably forget. So let's do this one. Let me sit straight and fix my hoodie. It still ain't fixed, but okay, let's go. This one, and then hold up one for, let me do that a little bit slower, because sometimes I'll be trying to catch it because it'd be like a second. And this for the gallery. I feel like one eye is way bigger than the other one in there. Oh, it's bleeding, y'all, because it was wet. You see where it's bleeding, like up here, you can see the black lines coming up from the eyeliner. That's the only thing with this being water activated, is that if my eyes tears, it's gonna disrupt the shadow. I mean, the water liner. I'm gonna go, y'all, because I'm just babbling at this point. So we'll be back here tomorrow, which will be like a half a second to you, to do look number 4. All right, so just hang tight. Thanks. Thank you for continuing to hang out with me. We're gonna put on Sangria. Our full face is done. Eyes are already primed as well. So we're gonna jump right into this look. I'm just gonna pat out the paint pot just one more time, and we're going to jump into look number 4. I'm excited. I did have to move my live stream, which you will have known, because today is the 14th, and I had to move today's till the 19th. I mean to next Monday, but this is what we're working with. So we're going to take, I do not like this shade, Fool's Gold, on the first half of the lid, and I do have a sponge tip handy because this shade does not really want to show up. I don't like this shade. It just looks chunky and textured on my lids, and my lids are not even really textured. But this shadow, like, look at this. I wouldn't even be confident that this wouldn't flake off sometime during the day, evening, nighttime. This formula is not my preference, I'll put it that way, because somebody might really like it. But I did want to see what it would look like over top of the paint pot, over top of the Fenty primer. And this is what it looks like. And I do want to go further out, but and I'm putting significant pressure on my lid, and I don't like doing that either. Like, you see my skin moving, right? Just trying to look at this. This is like a chunk. And I am putting significant pressure to smooth out the chunk. I'm going to use the sponge tip for the other side and see if that makes a difference. But so it is smoothing out, but it's not pleasant to work with. Like, you see me moving my skin, like you see all of this, right? And that's just trying to blend out this top edge. And then there's still like a chunk right here. Some of it smoothed out and some of it didn't, right here in this spot. This may be the last time I use this shadow. So let's try it with a sponge tip. Oh my Lord, that's even worse. And for me, a sponge tip does mimic a finger application, but I am not tapping off whatsoever. This ain't it, y'all. I need to remember to do my first impressions at the end of this video, which means I'll probably forget. You already know what I'm gonna say about this shade. This and it got the nerve to be flaking down on my face using this sponge tip. Over here there is no fallout, but over here there is. See, so it goes, but then it just wants to just stay. If you have this palette, how is it for you working with this shade? Put that down. How is it for you working with Fool's Gold? And I think that the name of it is appropriate, because it's like you think you have something great and you don't. I'm going to turn on this fan, so excuse me if you hear a slight humming. Where's my brush I use for powders? Yeah, this ain't it, sure. This ain't it. The first 3 looks, I did one each day of Academy, and the last day, the 3rd day, someone asked me, is purple and reddish tones like your go-to? So that told me that this is monochromatic, and you can see that it is. And I said, actually it's not, but I only brought one eyeshadow palette to use, and so those are the different shades in the palette. But I was just like, wow, like, so yeah, somebody noticed it all kind of looked the same, or at least in the same color family, which this is. The sponge tip does add more, because looking down here in the mirror, this side does look darker. And so I'm going back, and y'all, this shadow has a serious dent in it, so I'm going back to layer more. I don't know how noticeable it would be in person, because when I look up, all you see is up here anyway. So do I want to? Damn it! Excuse me for smacking. I'm disgusted with this shadow. So we are going to use a sponge tip and put more. And I think it's pretty in a way, but then maybe because how I'm feeling about the application and how it needs to be worked on to the lid, that might be that may be a factor in how I feel about even how it looks. So do I think it's a pretty shade? I do. But the struggle with working with it overshadows that it looks pretty, if that makes sense. Because I'm like, I do feel safe to say this is not going to be a shadow I use after this look. And I thought, let me put over a black base and see what it looks like. But even over groundwork, it was still difficult to put on. So I really don't know. I don't think, and I'm not going to try to see if, now we're going to take, let me take this brush out before it falls. Amaranth, this shade here. And so I don't even know, like, would putting this over black would make a difference. And because of how the formula is, even over this paint pot, like, I really don't think, maybe I should put it on the back of my hand just to see. If I remember after we finish the look, I'll put some of the black paint pot on the back of my hand and put Fool's Gold on top and see if that makes a difference, if I remember. And this is not blending well either with this other shade. because of the texture of fool's gold. We're gonna just feather this right here. Yeah, fool's gold is for fools. No, I'm not gonna say that because somebody probably really loves this shade. But I do think it's appropriately named. And so I will not be working with this again after this look. If I could take it out, I would, or just scoop it out, but it'll just be there. I'm not going to put tape over it or anything because it's not messy in the pan. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't like fall out around like some other shadows do. But so this is what we're working with. I am sleepy, y'all. I was so exhausted yesterday. I did fall asleep quite a few times, and then I kept getting up and doing stuff that didn't need to be done. Did it need to be done yesterday? No, but if I keep shifting my list, one day I'm going to be overwhelmed at all the stuff on my list. So every day, you know, I have a list of stuff I want to get done for that day. And so, of course, the shapes are different. I really just want this part up here to look the same, but I think our transition shade will help this out. And I think we might have just fixed it because it looked like it was like a dip like right here, but now it is going straight out. So yeah, we're going to move on to the next shade, which is Passion Fruit. And that shade is right here. So this will be our transition shade, which is almost to our brow bone. So we're going on the top line of the lid shades, the top edge of the lid shades. These lighter shades in here, like they are good for just blending out and erasing. I mean, so they do show up. That tells me that it is showing up enough to barely see it on my bare skin, like right here, but then over a darker shade, it looks like it erases it. So like these shades do, they do show up. And so that's good to know. That is good to know. So this is what we got. So now we're going to take Russet, this shade here, and we're going to do an outer V type thing, and we're going to stay inside of Amaranth. And so we have a little bit of a gradient. I'm going to bring this in because my outer V wasn't really a V. And so we're choosing Amaranth out here. So it's just like a little deeper spot for the outer corner. And usually when I do, because I meant to do first half of the lid with Fool's Gold, but because of how I was applying, I took it further out, which means this shade was not halfway to the outer corner, which would have gave me more space to do an actual outer V. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's the shadow in it. I do think the look is okay though. And I was gonna say I wish it were darker, but the shade is what the shade is. You know what I mean? So after this look, we will have used every shade in here twice, and so that's why I'm not going into like the brown to deepen it or whatever else. But I'm gonna take the brush that had Amaranth on it and just feather right here, because that Passion Fruit shade erased some of it. So there was, to me, it looked like it was a dip. Okay, now we're going to take Bittersweet. Where's Bittersweet? This one for our brow arch. And so that's just going to go right under here. I was thinking today of when I used to have cross-dressing clients. They were so much fun. One wasn't, but all the rest were. One was very entitled and inconsiderate because he was always late, and then he would want to stay longer. And I'm like, no, your time is the time that you booked. You come 20 minutes late doesn't mean I'm going to add on 20 minutes because I've been sitting here waiting for you for 20 minutes. But he was just very inconsiderate. And his foundation that he used was too light for his skin. So it looked like he had a mask on. And so when I matched him with the foundation and we put it on, I said, how is this? He was like, you know, it's a good start. And I'm like, dude, this is your complexion. Like in my mind, because he was so used to putting on makeup and it being noticeable that it wasn't his complexion, that when I matched him, he didn't really like it. And I'm just like, ain't really nothing I could do about that, because my purpose is to at least make it look like you don't have a mask on your face. So it was just really strange, and we didn't ever get into it, but I would say, you know, well, do you want your makeup, your foundation to look like your skin? And he would say yes. And I said, and that's what it looks like now. It looks like it's your skin. I said that other foundation was way too light for you, and it looked like you had a mask on. And so there was a lot of teaching moments for me with him. And y'all know I like to teach and explain things, but I was just like, dude. Henna, I don't know why, but you know, I do know why. We're putting henna on. My face makeup looks nice. Sorry, I just got, well, I'm not sorry. I think I had this for upper lash line just to use it. And y'all know I seldom ever, I dipped into after hours by mistake. So I'm wiping that brush off. I'm trying to see, I do have a clean one, but we wiped it off because I went into this one. This is the one we're using. I don't ever use eyeshadow for eyeliner, and I know a lot of people do, and I'm like, let me just do it. I do see it, so that's good. And then I'm wondering, y'all, I'm sleepy. I was gonna say I'm wondering why I wanted to put this up here, and I just told y'all why I decided to put this up here. Yo, when I'm sleep deprived, I'm like, I don't even know if I be making sense. So I was looking because it said recording will stop when call is answered, but I didn't see a notice that there was a call coming through. And that hesitation, me looking, was at the time to see if it has stopped recording, and it did not. So that might have been a spam call, because it'll flash and say spam likely, and then it'll just go away. So if my phone or the carrier thinks that it is spam, it won't even continue ringing. Usually it won't continue ringing. But then if I go into my phone, the phone icon, it'll be like 3 or 4 calls that I missed that said spam likely. And they never leave messages, and so I do believe they are spam messages. And so, yeah, I remember doing a live stream, one of the ones where it was acting up. One of you called me, and my ringtone is, hey, your phone is ringing. The phone. But they only let it ring a couple times. Well, my end, it only rang a couple times. But, I was like, oh, so-and-so's calling. So they were calling to tell me that YouTube was acting up during my live. And I do appreciate that. And somebody else had texted me, but if I'm doing a live on my phone, I don't see those messages until after. But yeah. And then somebody texted me, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Just YouTube was acting up. Y'all are so caring and compassionate, and I do appreciate that. Like, yeah, quite a few of you messaged me like, are you all right? We're going to take that brush that had amaranth on it, and we're just going to feather right here. Yeah, so that was, yeah, it's, and I do enjoy doing live streams, but then, like, times you just don't know. My eyes are burning, y'all. Why are my eyes burning? Oh, Lord. We're going to take Rogue. Well, you know what? Let's back up. Because I have Rogue for the second half of the lower lash line, but we're going to take Humble first for the first half of the lower lash line. I think this is a blue. I think this is State of Night that I have one under here. In the rims, I have one Weightless. Excuse me. How did I remember that? I don't know. Weightless is new to me. Say the Night is, excuse me, one that I've had. I wanted to see if it was going to be close to Stage 5 Clinger, which is not. Stage 5 Clinger is like the coppery shade that I really like, and they don't make it anymore. It's not on the MAC website. It's not on the Sephora website. So that is just not. And that's one I did not have a backup of, but that's okay. And then I'm thinking, is the color important when I do always cover up? Usually, 99.9% of the time, I do cover up the gel liner on, well, gel pencil liner on my lower lash line. We are taking Rogue, this one here. So I do really usually, once in a blue moon, I will just blend out the liner that I have under there, the gel liner pencil under there. And I like that look too. But I just like putting shadow under here. So I use the gel liner pencils under here to serve as a base for the shadow. Some people wet their brush. They put the shadow on and wet their brush and then put it on their lower lash line. So it's like whatever you're comfortable with, whatever works for you, that's what you do. But I haven't had any problems doing it this way. It looks like nothing's really under there. Oh my gosh. All right, I'm coming down a little bit further. I just want to see, like, is it going to look like more than what it looks like? And it's not. But you know what? This is an easy palette to work with. We are going to... We're going to... Mascara base, mascara. We're going to pick out a lip and then we're going to be right back. So for our lips, we put on this lip gloss from Sigma, and this one is Secret Garden. I did toss the lipstick. I thought it smells nice. I thought it was going to show up more, but it didn't. And so, because my thought was to top this over like a liquid lipstick, but I have a clear gloss. I have another gloss that's similar to this. Do I? I'm pretty sure I do. Even like this one, which shows up more. So this one, I think I'm going to toss it, because if I just want something to top a darker lipstick, my other lighter shades will actually do the same thing that this will do. And sometimes what happens with a reddish tone gloss, it'll make the liquid lipstick I put on under it, it'll turn it like a purplish type hue. And so I don't see a reason to keep this one. So I most likely will not. Is it cute? Yeah, but and actually this doesn't look much different on my lips than the sangria that I had on before, and I did wipe some of this off and put it on, and it doesn't look much different. So we're going to do our pictures, and then we're going to put some black paint pot and put that shadow on top to see what it looks like. Okay, all right, here we go. My face is looking nice. One for the gallery. So this one is for the gallery. Get all the glares off. Get all the glares off. Here we go. All right, so thank you for bearing with me with that. So we're going to take some of this paint pot. We're going to use the brush we used earlier for the groundwork paint pot. And we want to build that up. And actually, when I blend it out on my lid, it does look like this. And so, y'all, once this dries, forget about it. So, that's the black paint pot. And you see where it's blended out and where it's not. So, that's that. So, we're going to close this up, put this away. And I think I can turn this fan off now. And we're going to take that sponge tip. Well, first, we're going to try it with the brush that I used for it. And let me put this here. All right, so we're going in with the brush with Fool's Gold, and we're going to put that down here. I don't think it looks much different than it did on my lid. It is covering the black though, which I am surprised, but because this is a paint pot and I already had on the paint pot, the struggle I had with applying it on my lid was not good. And maybe because my skin moves, because like on the back of my hand, like my skin doesn't move. And so I do like how that looks. And I mean, and it doesn't look as textured as on my lids, I don't think. Let me know what you think. Are my lids looking textured compared to this? And I do think it does, but you may see something different than I am. And so that's why I'm asking you. So now we're taking some on the sponge tip, and we're going to put that up here. So over my hand, and so maybe it's my skin because I have the puff and my skin moves on my eyelid, but this seems really easy and it doesn't look textured to me on my hand. It is a little more shiny, I think, with the sponge tip than the brush, but I still think it looks textured on my lids. And for all of that I had to do to get it on, Don't be looking at my nose. For all that I had to do to get it on, if it looked like this, I would be like, yeah, but... And I'm looking to see if it's creasing, and it does look like it is, or that it wants to, or it may just be because it's so shiny. I don't know. So over the paint pot, it looks good, but I do think it's because my skin moves on my eyelids and all the puffiness that I'm not going to get that smooth, because it did just go straight across with the sponge, but it didn't do that. And this is with the brush. So yeah, so that probably will be, part of me does want to try it over the black on my lids, and part of me is like, don't do it. Your eyelids are going to be pissed at you. They're going to be sore from all the tugging and rubbing. And you saw me put significant pressure. You know what, I'm not going to do it because the paint pots have the same texture. And so if it did this over this one, it's going to do the same thing over this one. So I'm not going to do it. I'm going to spare my eyelids because I was putting a lot of pressure on my eyelids to blend this out. So yeah, that'll be the last time I try that shadow. I do like the look. I do. I have an idea for the look for the palette. My first impressions after using every shade in here twice. Very easy to use, very monochromatic. Even though first look, this shade, these 6. Second look, this shade, these 6. It all is in the same color family. Yes, the looks look different, but to the naked eye, it's like, oh, is that your go-to color? Because all the looks look the same. Maybe a little lighter, maybe a little darker, but they look the same. This shadow, you already know. I'm not using this again. I plan to not ever use that again. Never say never, they say. Very easy to work with, minimal to no fallout. Everything does show up. A couple of these were eraser shades. I seem to remember this one or this one being an eraser shade, which is good. If I go ham on something, hey, put that on, it'll just take it away like it was never there. And they blend into my complexion, so if I use it as a eraser shade, it will just blend into my skin tone. So I don't need to worry about, okay, I erased this shade, now I gotta put something else there because it looks like there's a gap or something. And the palette is not messy either. I am glad that I took it with me to ensure that I would use it. And so I do like it. Some of the looks I wanted to be darker, and I will acknowledge that the light where I was not the same as light here, because when I came home, my neighbor had collected my mail for me because that chair came in that the members saw, and something from City Beauty I ordered came in, and 2 other things came in. And so after I came home and dropped all my stuff off here, I went downstairs to get my mail from her, and she was like, oh, look at you with your eyeshadow. And she was like, what is that? And so I showed her a picture, one of the gallery pictures, and she said, and it wasn't for the look I had on yesterday, and she said, I wouldn't have thought the look you have on came from this. And so I think it does look darker in person than it did where I was, because just the light was horrible, and I did the best I could. Y'all know I always do. But yeah, she said, I wouldn't have thought that look came from here. And so I was just like, okay, which is a good thing, because she looked at it, she was like, that's really nice. What did you use? And so, but I do like it. Shout out to Jennifer Steps. I'll put her in the description box. She's the one that gifted this to me. She made an order from Sigma. This was gift with purchase. She already had it. She sent it to me. So I am excited to have it. I'm thankful for the opportunity to have it, because I was looking at it when it was on sale, and then I'm like, it is monochromatic-ish. So I do have a plan for this. I'm going to pair this with, you know what, I'm going to hold on to that, because I think I'm going to do a bingo. And I don't know if it'll be like a members only thing or not, or a live stream. I don't know. But I do have a plan for this, which is good. When I have a plan and a vision for a palette, that tells me it is something to it that is drawing me back to it. Drawing, y'all, excuse me. So that's this palette. I do like it. The formula. Oh, another thing, because I just remembered. This shade right here, I'm looking at it, and it's hard pan. This is the one I think I spoke about. Did I use this yesterday? I don't know. I remember when I was using it, and I was saying it has hard pan. And I looked over, and I see that sheen, like right where the brush was. So this shadow has hard pan. My second time using it, This right here is hard pan, and this one, it just does not want to, it doesn't want to, it's not smooth, it's very textured. So out of the 14 shades, this is a dud and that's a dud. This one I could scrape it with a spoolie and then, you know, use it, but I'm not going to want to do that. I'm not going to want to do that. Y'all know I'm lazy with my makeup. I want to put the brush in it, put the brush on my lid, and the shadows show up. And this one, I did have to work to get the color payoff from that the last time I used it, and that's definitely work. So, but aside from those two, that leaves me with 12 shades in here that do show up. I kind of wish maybe this one had the hard pan or that one, because this is more of a color, even though it does in a way blend in with my complexion. But I do like the palette. I do appreciate how one side are like tans, browns, and this side is more, you know, rosy, reddish pinks. And so if you want to do a tan type look, you're over here. If you want to do a reddish, pinkish look, you're over here. Or like this look in the last one, mix the two and just see what happens. And some people don't mix, excuse me, certain colors with certain colors, but y'all know I just do whatever because makeup is meant to be fun. And so those are my first impressions after using every shade in here twice. Let me know your impression of this palette if you have it. And let me know, like, if this showed up on my lid like that, I would be like, yes, but it did not, and it doesn't. It looks very textured. But that'll be it for this video. Thank you. Comments, you know, are welcome down below. Like, share, subscribe, join all that stuff you saw popping up over here on the video, and there's stuff popping up for you to watch. So if you have time, I would love for you to continue hanging out and watching some of my other videos. And as always, self-acceptance, self-love, that is the Crazy Troll Nation way. Thank you, and you will see me soon.